Hello, Laoshi Laurince McElroy here from Water Tiger School of Tai Chi Chuan. Another pre-recorded video, a little original content. Going to add this to our, stretching and working out series. You have a handful of those videos on the channel now. Favorite stretch of mine. I'm not going to try the Sanskrit, but a split leg hamstring stretch is what we're going to do today. Little warm up, get some blood, some oxygen going into the muscles, that sort of thing. You may not need it. You may want to do it if you're going to participate in the stretch. I also have some tools. Have my smartphone to use as a timer for my warm up. I have a couple of yoga blocks in case somebody might need those. You don't have yoga blocks. It's just a simple step stool of some sort or a chair. You can also use your leg. So all of those things work. So let's just go to it. Now, you might notice I'm not wearing shoes. If you have a hard surface, you may want to put on some shoes if you're going to do a warm-up with me, simply because there's going to be some impact. But I have a nice, soft training mat here that will take care of any impact issues. Just going to set the timer here. Now I'm going to give some variations as I'm doing this. I like to start with a march, just sort of ease into a little bit more aerobic kind of warm-up. I do 20-second intervals. You don't want to stretch a cold muscle. You can tweak something that way. We've had people and open up the knees. This is the second 20 seconds. Had people on the mat who just, start stretching cold even at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And they end up pulling things. Got them to start doing a little aerobic warm-up. Now I'm going to run in place for 20 seconds. Now you can keep the march, or you can maybe upgrade the march, where you can run with knees down a little bit more, or knees up a little bit more. And I run 3 ways. So anyway, if you've been, if you're doing a stretch and now running knees wide, or you've done some sort of other physical activity, you may not need an aerobic warm-up before you start a stretch. That's okay. And, and then there are the freaks. And now the third way I'm going to run with the knees down and the heels up. And again, you can tone it down. You can do your best to kick yourself in the butt. I'm going to do little sort of half jacks for 20 seconds, beginning now. So this is a half jack. You can go full bore. You can vary it. Sometimes my chest and upper back hurt a little bit. I'll do that. And there we go. Nice little 2-minute warm-up. By the way, you can also, if you can't handle the impact of jacks, do little steps, do a little ballistic bounce. Heck. You can walk for a little while, just to get the legs a little bit warm. So the thing about a split leg hamstring stretch is it's hard. You got a little bit of balance involved. So do what works for you. But notice my blue line, my taped blue line. I do that because I want to point out that the heels are going to be in alignment. That I'm going to turn what's going to be the back foot out a bit and step the other foot forward. Now, I'm not too close. I'm not too far apart. I've just got a nice distance there. I'm going to take a little step back here, so I only lose half my head. I'm going to square off the hips. Both legs are straight. Now, sometimes we'll let folks open the back knee, if that sort of helps. But in all reality, both legs should be straight. So we can do the whole swan dive thing from yoga, or simply walk down, not quite, there we go. I think this is going to be it as he falls over. And so again, hips are square. Left hip to the left side, right hip to the right side. Now the whole swan dive thing is, starting in prayer hands, going up, and then a forward fold down. Back is straight, arms are out, head is up, and then collapse into it. So again, while I am here, a few things. I can use my own leg as the arbiter of my support in a support hand version, right? Or I have a chair that I can use. The yoga blocks, for a lot of people, sometimes you need something on both sides. So the two yoga blocks, and as always with the yoga block, highest position, a little bit closer, goodbye block. Now you want to keep turning that back hip forward so the hip stays square. And just hang out and breathe. Reaching the top of the head down toward the toes. You don't want to simply round the spine here. That creates too much pressure in the chest and the abdominals. If you get your hands on the floor, same thing, fingers, I'm a little bit higher. Pads of the fingers a little bit closer. Closed fists. Palms of hand. I can't quite get there this morning. So I'm going to go with closed fists. But I can do closed fists and sort of spread out a little bit. Keep breathing. Now this is the basic stretch. When you come out of it, bend the knee. And again, I can use the hand. I can have the chair nearby. Or just carefully come up. And check that out a little bit. You hold it for, a minute, 30 seconds, couple minutes, whatever works for you. 2 minutes might be a little bit long. Other side. Turn out the back foot, the left foot in this instance for me a little bit. Both of my legs are straight. See, my hips are square. I'm not doing this. There's a tendency to want to let that back hip pull back. You want to keep the hips square. Again, the swan dive, up. He's falling over, down, hitting the exercise bike, boom. And keep that leg straight. You bend the leg, you destroy the stretch. A little bit more distance. Here we go. You can have a side. It's a little bit more flexible than the other side. That's okay. Wonder where that bruise came from. I'm not sparring these days, so I got nothing. Except with the cats. I don't think Sasha did that to me. Could be wrong. Always turning that back hip forward. Breathing. As with any stretch, you're exploring the stretch on the exhalation and sort of pausing that exploration on the inhale. And not every stretch, but most stretches are that way. A couple more breaths here. And I'm going to show you, and bend the knee, some ways to turn up the volume. So the basic stretch, and again, to turn down the volume, all you do is you don't go as low, right? For some people, I've done this in a public class. I'm going to back up so you can see my whole head. When I've done this in a public class and in the studio for that matter, for some people, just getting the feet in this position, hanging out. And then squaring off the hips maybe after a while. This is it. I can feel, the hamstring being stretched a little bit. If it's awfully tight, the quad being stretched. I can feel the glutes and the hip flexors activated. So for some people with limited mobility, this may be enough. Or just down to the knee and just hang out right here. Maybe your chest isn't supposed to be lower than your hips. Or your lower back can't take the strain of hanging down because it's been, it's got some injury or impingement or something. But otherwise, go to it. So the first way to turn up the volume is while you're in the stretch, And in your position, raise the ball of the foot. So instead of being in this position with the ball of the foot down, raise the ball of the foot up. Really turns up the volume on both the hamstring and especially the calf muscle. And while we're here on this side, another way is raise the back leg. And keeping that back leg now parallel to the earth. And if you can, start to bring the nose to the knee. And bring that foot in and switch. So now the right foot is forward. Raise the ball of the foot. Feel that stretchy goodness. And the second version here, I'll turn sideways. Boom. Again, flex the back foot. Can't see it because of the chair, but see my foot is flexed. And be out here. I can be right there. Or reach the nose down to the knee. And bring that foot in. Roll about. So there's two ways of turning up the volume. Again, you have your basic split leg hamstring stretch. Both feet flat on the floor. You can raise the ball of the foot up, increasing the intensity in the hamstring and the calf. Or you can do sort of a warrior 3 crescent moonish kind of position. The last way to turn up the volume on this is to get a little shoulder stretch out of it. And there are other ways as well. I think some people do this in a binding version. Not going to do that because it'll be ugly. Right? But you know, if you know Water Tiger School, you know the cross wrist stretches, palm to palm in front and behind. You have the, I had a towel pulled out for this and I didn't bring it down with me, right? So behind, you can do that. That's the most intense stretch. I'll move into the camera so you can see, right? So if you can bring the palms together. If you can't do that, fingertips are intertwined, palms up. You can even get to the points of the fingers a little bit there. I don't have a towel, but what I do have, you can use an exercise band, right? You get a little bit of distance there, right? But I want to do the stretch like this, behind my back. Again, palms together, palms open, fingertips, towel, exercise band, short dowel, something like that. And what you want to do is get your feet into position. Start high, not Colorado, California kind of high. High is in upright. Bring the palms together. Bend the knee and go down with a bent knee. Still squaring off the hips. And work on opening up the shoulders first. And then straighten the leg. Boom. Just checking out, see what it looks like. Breathing. Can you hear me breathe? And release. And come up out of it. That's my good side. Let's see what we get on this side. So foot forward. Now, if you crossed maybe left thumb over right thumb, the first time, change it. You probably feel a little awkward at first, but eventually you do that enough, like in front too, you switch back and forth. I can no longer tell which was sort of my default setting in front. I can still tell that my left thumb likes being over my right thumb more than my right thumb likes being over my left thumb. I need to bend that knee. Oops. Knees bent. Working on opening up the shoulders. Yeah, I'm going to fall. Told you, bad side. Do that again. Boom. A little bit more distance. Oops. Back to the right over the top, because I'm challenged by that in this position. There we go. Breathing. A couple more breaths here. And come up out of it. So there you go. Split leg hamstring stretch with some modifications, with some intensifiers. That shoulder stretch is, as the kids say, well, I don't know if the kids say it anymore, money. And that stretch is just, you feel it everywhere. It's just all the way up the leg, into the glute, into the hip flexor. It is a wondrous stretch. So there you go. As always, honor your range of motion. It is never, when you're doing a forward fold, about touching the floor. It is about stretching. And as you stretch and build flexibility over time, then perhaps, eventually, you get to the floor. The floor is not the goal. The stretch is the goal. So here we are. Still doing some original content once in a while. It's been a couple of weeks since we posted anything original. We've been doing uploading past Facebook Live sessions from earlier in quarantine. And I'm not sure what's on cue for the next original content, but it might be 2 or 3 weeks down the road. We'll see. In the meantime, stay at home if you can. If you need to go out, wear a mask. Just wear the damn mask. We're doing all right on Long Island and New York State, but not so in other places in the United States of America. So let's get it together, people. We are in this together. So take care. Be flexible. Ta.